Who am I? What is this? Why am I here?
It's so much taboo on that. There's a little dark side of it, shadow side of it.
By making something wrong and pushing it away, it's actually causing more damage, more harm. And it doesn't simply disappear. You hide it, now it comes out in rape, in molestation, in all these other forms because they weren't taught how to use this energy in a healthy way. I believe it was Osho who coined that term, from sex to superconsciousness, and I love it because I feel like it's such a sweet way to summarize what's available.
More of a looking from the physical aspect to an emotional or a spiritual, and looking at the soul.
If I'm so loved and I love myself so much and this is here, then it's happening for me. It's not happening to me. So anything that's human, that's animal, that's primal is somehow seen as less than. And so they're walking around half people.
We are only one different from the animal because they need the food, sleep, and then reproduction, sex, right? And we also have that same thing in common. What makes us as a human different, we can look ourselves into spiritual aspect, our soul journey.
If we were just immortal, life would be meaningless. But I was also a reader, and I did read the Bible often, and there were lots of questions. There was a lot of things for me that didn't quite make sense. Maybe it's arrogance, but maybe it's something else. My partner and I we call it cosmic lovemaking. Every time we make love, since we're both working with our energies and we're both working with each other's energies and we're doing our individual practices, and when we come together, there's visuals. Like, we don't need to take any drugs. It's psychedelic. There's downloads. It's very cosmic. It is beautiful. The fractals, the things that are available, the aha moments, so much opens up on that level of super consciousness where it is really beyond the physical. If that charge is heavy for you, that's worth looking at. It's like life 2.0. But this was with myself, so I never heard of it before. I didn't know anything about it. Can you smell it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you see it? Can you be so immersed in the beauty of the miracle that is this moment that never has been and never will be again? We can't go to the past. We can't go to the future. Here we are.
Sex to superconsciousness. Guys, do you want to understand what it is? What is the behind scene, why it is so much taboo, but at the same time we can emerge from sex to superconsciousness, how we can do that? We are going to bring the topic on this podcast channel from the Success Mantra Hub, and we have a amazing, gorgeous lady, Taina, and where she will be adding lots of insight on that, how one can transform from sex to superconsciousness, at the same time can practice the Sacred Tantra and modern Tantra. What is a lot of things we are going to learn, what is Neo Tantra, how it is originated, and how we can use this on a day-to-day basis on the relationship dynamics, on how we can find the polarity, lots of boundaries, consents, lots of things, guys. This is going to be an amazing podcast. Just stay tuned. And so hi, Taina.
Hi, Ravindra. Thanks
Hello.
for having me here. It's an
Thank
honor
you.
and a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I really honored. This is what I felt like real manifestation of you being on my podcast. And this is like in our Indian words, say you ask for something and then God won't give that, and He gives you a bigger. Like I am having it directly from the facilitator, Awaken as a Love Facilitator Trainer. And this is so amazing. I'm feeling so grateful about that. Just before I spoken to you, when I approached you for the podcast, and as I said, to the real manifestation happened, I was discussing with the participants of the Awaken as a Love, and then some schedules were not aligned, and then I don't know, all of a sudden I saw your message, and then that triggers me, and asking you podcast. And he agreed. Oh my God, this is what I felt. This is the result of Awakening as a Love manifestation, how this started. So I just wanted to ask you, Taina, about how how does this Sacred Tantra, or maybe a Tantra, a transformation in your life, how you came into this picture and how you started? Just wanted to understand more in a context where, from a Tantra aspect and then modern Tantra. So just little put us a little light on that, so that what is your views, or maybe how you how you conduct your trainings, how you transform people. So yeah, just wanted to hear and my audience to be just have a little insights on that. Can you give that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll try to cover all of that. And thank you so much for having me on here. I'm absolutely honored to be invited to be a part of your podcast and to share the beautiful world of Tantra with the world, and especially here in India, which was where it originated. So humbled and grateful and honored to be here. And I enjoyed so much having you as a part of Awaken as Love and our stage 1 training, and just really witnessing your process. So on the personal level as well, just happy to continue to connect with you. So, myself and how I began in this world. Oddly enough, I actually was raised born again Christian, which is pretty common in my. I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican, and I grew up in the States, and so in Mexico is very Catholic.
Okay.
No, we weren't. I think it started off as Catholic, but my mom actually transitioned into born again Christian when we moved to the States.
Okay.
So I was raised in that, and I always had a really beautiful connection to Jesus and to God, and I prayed over everything. And so since I was a little thing, my conviction and faith was so strong that I was witnessing miracles on a regular basis, and had a really powerful connection to the divine. But I was also a reader, and I did read the Bible often, and there were lots of questions. And there was a lot of things for me that didn't quite make sense. Like, what about the dinosaurs, and how, and all of these other, is it really horrible for, I'm just going to stop there. So I don't want to go down that road. But that made me question lots of things. Okay. And when I became an adult, I had a boyfriend who was Native American, who is Native American of the Chickasaw tribe, and believed very much in Creator. And we got into a conversation one day where he asked if I thought he was going to go to hell. And according to my religion, yes, if you hadn't accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior, you would. But what I understood an unconditionally loving God to be, that didn't make sense.
Okay.
And so that put the wrench in my gears of then from that point forward asking vehemently, like, what is this? Who are you? Who am I? And asking these big questions that I had never really considered so much before. But now it became front and center. I need an answer. You've helped me with every test. You've helped me with every swim meet. I was a competitive swimmer for a long time. So everything I had this connection that I needed to understand, like, how can this connection be real? Okay. But what I'm reading and understanding doesn't make sense. Okay. Historically, geographically, any of that. And so that's where my seeking began. Okay. And that journey is that started everything from that point forward. And I'll keep it really short because it's a really long journey of just like how my awakening happened, and how books, people, situations, unexplained things, experiences started coming into my life that were beyond. And I knew that it was because of the asking. Oh, yeah. Who am I? Yeah. What is this? Why am I here?
Continuous asking.
Continuous asking. But in that continuous asking, I mean, within weeks, the answers started coming in ways that I couldn't make up. So it started showing me that there was something else happening here. So I started diving even deeper into that, and started seeking others who were also having unexplainable experiences in the spiritual realm, which led me to A Course in Miracles, to Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. It led me to shamanism. It led me to ayahuasca. It led me to my first teacher, Amitabha, who was an enlightened Zen master.
Oh, okay.
And in Las Vegas, of all places. That's where I was living at the time.
Okay.
And he never wrote a book. He didn't sell any tickets. He didn't do any courses. But he held Sangha every Sunday. And we would gather. And I would come in, and he would stop everything on multiple occasions to address the things that I was experiencing throughout the week, and saying, by the way, and speak directly to my experience. And I hadn't shared it with anyone because I didn't think I could. And as I started to share my experiences there, people were reflecting back, like, you're actually experiencing Tantra.
Oh.
But this was with myself. So I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know anything about it. And I'll backtrack a little bit to say that actually I had shared this in stage 1, so you know my story a little bit about being in an abusive relationship, which happened after my spiritual journey had began. And so it was very confusing to me because I thought I had loved myself. And to find myself in a physically violent situation where I had to get x-rays and just things were getting out of hand, and I wasn't speaking to anyone because I felt ashamed, and I didn't think anyone would believe me because spiritual community held him in such high regard.
So that was after you started exploring a Tantra, or before?
Before.
Okay.
So
and then
this,
you
so I
started
started so I started the spiritual journey of the asking, who am I? And then I'm finding all of these synchronicities that led me to different books, different experiences, different things, including shamanism and ayahuasca. And it was after that, and I had started attending Sangha, but I was still in this relationship with someone that I had met through A Course in Miracles, actually. And as that became more and more toxic, I realized, like, I'm not loving myself. And it doesn't condone his behavior, but it definitely put the power back in my hands of saying, I have a choice to do something about this.
Correct.
I can stay with him or me, but I have to make a choice. And it's either him or I. And I chose me.
So you got that power.
I got the power, but it was hard.
Continuous asking question, and then you got the courage to do it.
The courage to do it, which that launched me into my self-love practice. And that shifted everything. Because the meditation was good, the psychedelic journeys were powerful, but it wasn't until I integrated true self-love into my regular practice for a long time, and it's still continuous, that things started to shift completely. And through that process was where I was started to have my memories come back of other lives, of other senses starting to come online, of downloads of rituals that I had never done before, but felt compelled to do. Many, many things that I couldn't explain. And so I started attending Sangha, Sunday Sangha, where my teacher would start to answer those questions before I even asked them. That was powerful. And that's where, as I started to share these rituals and these different self-love practices that I was doing, that then the group reflected, you're actually practicing Tantra. I'm like, I've never heard of this. What's happening? What's happening to me? And so that's where my tantric journey began. One of the students of the teacher, he only had one that was part of the group, took me under his wing first and said, you know, like, you can practice Tantra by yourself or with a partner, and both are very powerful. So he initiated me first, and for about 6 months, our tantric practice was mostly chanting and meditating and what some people would call white Tantra.
White Tantra.
White Tantra. And eventually it led to pink Tantra, where then it was also including the body and massage and soothing. And I had broken up with that dude. So he was there with the tantric healing practices to help put me back together after I had broken into a million little pieces through love, through connection, not sexual. But very, very divine. And then when I was ready, we had our first Red Tantra ritual in which I completely surrendered to Shiva.
Oh.
And my whole body bent over backwards, and I started speaking in tongues, and I started saying, "Oh, Sonu Ekale, oh, Sonu Ekale." And I had never heard of the goddess Ma Kali before.
Oh.
Ever. But she
Okay.
spoke through me.
Oh.
And so this was another powerful awakening for me of the connection to the divine within me.
That's great. That's great.
After that, my teacher, I was a weekly practice that I came in with my practice with my partner every single week on Saturday. And one of these Saturdays, after these experiences had happened, because I didn't know, he was going back and telling him about it.
Oh, okay.
So one day I came in and my teacher was in our sacred space, and he said, "I'll take it from here," and initiated me into a one-on-one tantric esoteric training from that point forward.
Okay, that's great. So, as you said, pink tantra, white tantra, red tantra.
Yeah.
So, as you experienced, it made me curious to ask, like, just put as in India or maybe international, there are a lot of people might be, this is a taboo subject, really don't understand what is that essence, where it is originated, and now there are different essence or different aspect of it. No, different people practice in a different way. So add a little bit more light on where it is originated from and what are its forms, how it will help in relationship dynamics. One can be connect with own self as well as with their partner. How that can be done. Just little add that point will be great.
Absolutely. So Tantra originated 3 to 5 and maybe even more 1,000 years ago here in the Indus Valley. It's the birthplace of Tantra. And some may even say that in Egypt as well, with the ancient Egyptian mysteries of the Isis mystery school and the Hathor, there's all those different ones. And so there's been ancient knowledge and wisdom that knowing that using subtle energy and working with the most powerful energy on the planet, with one of the most, if not the most, the power of creation.
Okay, power.
The power of creation. And in Tantra, it's called Shakti, which is this Shakti energy Shiva is consciousness, but Shakti is creation. It's the life force energy. And you can harness this energy and use it, for example, in the sexual act, to create new life.
Okay.
Or you can use it to create the life of your dreams.
Yeah.
The way you really want to know that you are one with Creator. That you are creating and you are co-creating this reality.
Right.
And you can play with that in juicy and wonderful ways. Okay. So with Tantra, it explores this energy and the expansiveness of it to connect fully the mind, the body, the spirit. All polarities, the inner, the outer, the divine and the earthly, the mundane, the profane and the profound. It's bringing Tantra, the word itself means to weave, to loom together. Connection. So it is exploring this world of duality to help remember the unity.
Oneness.
The oneness that it is one. And so it offers that through a variety of practices, there's so many different lineages. If you ask 100 tantrikas, you're going to get 100 different answers of what is Tantra. But I see it as a beautiful umbrella that encompasses the joy of life, the joy de vivre, the fullness of your expression and potential. And we talked a little bit about the white, the pink, the red, and that's more of I would say a neo-tantra take and spin on it, where it kind of breaks it into these categories. And it looks more of like, okay, well, if we want the fullness of life and if we want to be our fullest expression on this planet while we're in these bodies, like, what does that look like? And so it looks at the physical. So that encompassing the sexual aspect as well. But it also encompasses the etheric. And one of the systems that it uses is the chakra system to bring awareness to our power centers. And of course, there's many chakras. There's more than 7, but for the sake of these practices, you keep it simple with 7. And really, whether you believe that there's spinning wheels of energy in your body or not, it's bringing the awareness of these areas of our life that are power centers. So our foundation, our money, our business, our home, our basic human needs, right? Even Maslow talks about the basic human needs. So that is would be considered the root chakra.
Correct.
And then our emotions, our sensuality, our sexuality, this is found in the chakra that is our sacral chakra, right? So whether it's in the chakra or not, like still these are important to our nature, important to our joy, our health, our happy vitality, pleasure. Our power, our will, our ability to exert our desires in this world, our creations in this world, our solar plexus, having that self-worth enough to say, here I am, world, and I'm going to make the best of it. That would be in our solar plexus. Our ability to give and receive love from our heart, to express ourselves fully, to bring those creations that were born from our sacral to come out into full expression through our throat chakra. Our ajna, our third eye, to be able to see beyond the veils, knowing we're not just physical beings, but to be able to tune into the subtle energies and that which cannot be seen by the naked eye, but is present. And then our crown, our connection to all that is. Our superconsciousness, one with all. So these different areas, power centers of our life, help to awaken the fullness of our being in form. While we're in form.
Yes. That makes a lot of insight about, as you said, how it can be, tantra can be connected with own self, and then it connects the spiritual as well, as you said, and then how tantra connected with the chakra. As I studied more on the chakras, all the chakras aspect, like heart and brain coherence, like how it is, how it works in a synchronization when they are in sync, because heart is the which chakra is a major part of 3 chakra above one, and then 3 chakra below. So this is the main right. So as I studied and you reflected on the tantra aspect of it, now I realize, oh my God, so these all interlinked. This is all interlinked.
Yes, weaving, looming, and so needed on the planet, because so many beautiful religions and traditions have so much wisdom, and they focus from heart up. Not only do they focus on heart up, but then they demonize below. So anything that's human, that's animal, that's primal, is somehow seen as less than. And so they're walking around half people.
That's great. That's
and
really
Tantra bridges. And I think that's why people get so excited about Tantra and make it all about sex, even though it's not about sex, but it does include sex. Because it is important to be whole and not fragmented. Like, this half of me is okay, but that is shameful. It includes this. All of it is sacred. Sex is sacred. Your desires are sacred. You and all of your being, your light, your dark, all of you, absolutely sacred.
Perfect. When you spoke about this, it makes me realize in India, even I don't know about in the Western world, some of the countries, like it's so much taboo on that. We don't really talk. There's a dark side of it, shadow side of it. Everyone knows this is how, because we are existing because of that. We're born out of sex.
Exactly.
But nobody talks that. So that makes me, even my journey started understanding this path as I earlier spoken to in the training also, Awakeness training, like how I came from this. Like I was getting a constant question why man is built like this, why he always drawn to woman, and how I can transform my energy from sex to superconsciousness.
Yes.
Because that question came, and that made me to land and with you people on exploring more into all these retreats, and then starting and understanding. Now I'm getting where it is coming from, where it is moving, as you said, from the heart. We really ignore that below three chakras, but they are the foundation.
Yes.
If they are not in alignment with all chakras, then there's definitely you not be able to stand. That is what you made me to think. So that's really amazing insight you gave, Diana.
Thank you. Can I add a little something to that?
Yeah,
And that's something you touched on because it's so important. Is in the making it wrong and putting it in the darkness that then it manifests in the world sideways, because these are natural expressions, and when harnessed correctly and with reverence and with love, like, they are powerful, which I also believe is probably one of the reasons that religions have started making it taboo and wrong and to suppress it, because of how powerful these energies are. And what's happened is you can't just suppress it and it goes away. What happens is that then it comes out in its perverted form. And that's why we have so many stories of priests who have taken vows of celibacy, but yet are touching little boys. Because the more you suppress, it's like a ball, like you have underwater, that if you just keep pressing it, it's going to find a way to find some other weird way. And then it comes out in perverted forms. And that's why we bring Tantra to the forefront. Many of us that are finding this liberation, that are finding our true selves through this, and going like, if we stop putting it in the shadows, then that's one of the ways we start to heal on the planet. By making something wrong and pushing it away, it's actually causing more damage, more harm. Because then people don't know how to use this energy. And it doesn't simply disappear. You hide it, now it comes out in rape, in molestation, in all these other forms, because they weren't taught how to use this energy in a healthy way. It comes out in an unhealthy way.
Like, just wanted to add one point is, we are no different. We are only one different from the animal, because they need the food, sleep, and then reproduction, sex, right? And then the fear. And we also have that same thing in common. Food, need, like sleep, or maybe fear, right? These three things. And when what makes us as a human different, we can look ourselves into spiritual aspect, our soul journey.
Yes.
That the neocortex part is not in the animal. Like, we have three different brains, right? The reptilian, mammalian, and neocortex. The neocortex is the prefrontal cortex, as I heard in the James talking
That's
about
right.
it, right?
It's the newest one.
So there we can start our journey, the spiritual context. So as you said, the animal part, animal things, like we can also say that the things which you said that you suppress, that will come into different direction and will come into shadow.
Yes.
That is the major thing, people, where there is a taboo, which is not openly discussed. When there is a openly not discussed, the curiosity opens up.
Yes.
People go and study more on that, right? Because this is, I'll tell you, in the world, three topics are more highly discussed: sex, money, and peaceful and other things. These are the important topics where people talk, but not openly, in the hidden way, right? Shadow. So this makes me lots of make sense that how we can heal through Tantra. It is a completely integrated aspect. It is not that from only a heart above the chakra. It is a heart below chakra.
It's all
wholeness.
It's sex to superconsciousness,
Yeah.
root to crown and beyond.
Yeah. So that's amazing thing. How to practice Tantra in our day-to-day life. What light, we just wanted to, for our audience, I would like to hear about that from a lead facilitator who is practicing Tantra from almost 18 years. So I just wanted to hear more on that, like on a day-to-day practice, or maybe how Tantra in a daily life.
Beautiful. Great question.
Yeah.
So one of the things that are very basic about Tantra this way. Like, it's not so much a practice that you can do, although we do offer that. There's classical and neo-tantric, there's integral Tantra out there. There's lots of workshops, retreats, places you can go to learn these different tools and group settings that are also very transformational and powerful. But I loved your question of like, how can I bring this into my everyday life? Because I see Tantra more as a way of life versus any kind of path or philosophy or religion or anything. Like, it's none of those. It's a way of life, and bringing in the deliciousness of the present moment, and bringing that awareness that this moment now is what is it's everything. We can't go to the past, we can't go to the future. Here we are. So can you smell it? Can you hear it? Can you feel it? Can you see it? Can you be so immersed in the beauty of the miracle that is this moment, that never has been and never will be again? And to see it for what it is, the miracle of that moment that's so unique and never in all eternity to be repeated. Can bring that awe and wonder, that fresh eyes. So often we get stuck in the day-to-day, 9-to-5, mundane, routine, life. But when you really stop to look, like, wow, what is really happening right now? Like, where did we come from? What is going on? And just relish that. Then you can bring that sense of wonder into everything. And one of the things that starts to develop in Tantra, and another way to define it as well, is the art of falling in love with life. The art of falling in love with yourself. And that love starts to spill into everything you do and everyone you meet, so that even washing dishes can become an ecstatic experience.
Oh, okay.
And when you bring that sense of presence, of curiosity, of aliveness into everything you do, it magnifies your relationships, your experience of the now, your creativity, your connection to all that is, so that then what you create from that point has a different dimension than just like, oh, I just have to go to work and do the things and blah 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 and blah blah. It's just there's a youthfulness, there's an innocence, there's an awakefulness that starts to penetrate your very being, and so it's like life 2.0.
Yeah,
it's a different. There's a before and there's an after for sure. After that,
that makes me, you realize that that's a great insight you gave me. That being here and essence of senses, what it smells like. More of a people, or maybe I myself somewhat, I realize that more of a being in the sympathetic nervous system, like Tantra, how often I can shift to parasympathetic nervous system, where there is no stress or being in live in the presence, and then more I'll be in my own authentic self. I'm feeling my body, and I'm in. Oh my God, this is awesome. This is great that. Being Tantra means being with ourselves.
Yes.
With our authentic self.
Authentic self.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing, Tara. You are adding lots of value addition on this.
Thank you.
Superb. Okay.
Now, I'll add that from that authentic self, then, you're no longer concerned with people pleasing. So you're no longer worried about making your life about making other people's happy or meeting their expectations.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you go around just selfishly only looking out for you, right? Because if you hurt someone you love, that hurts you too. So it's not about that, but it's about bringing what you think, what you say, and what you feel into true alignment. And when you're in true alignment, now you're so much more magnetic. We are electromagnetic beings. So when we're thinking one thing but we're saying something else, now you're causing a disconnect. Now you're not in alignment.
Not in alignment,
Things are not going to flow. Things are not going to be easy. But once these things, like a puzzle piece, come together, now what you think about, what you say, the things that you want, your manifestations start happening clearer and faster because you are creator.
Yeah.
And now there's nothing in the way.
Correct.
The only thing that's been in the way has been the disconnect, has been the out of alignment, has been the blocks, the traumas, the past, which is again why I coming back to the present.
Yeah.
And the practices can help you release the past so that you can be here now.
We can be here. Okay.
Yeah, so you can be here without bringing the past into the present moment, which now it's tainting the present moment from what you're thinking about, feeling the unresolved past.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That brings me quantum manifesting, as you said.
Sure.
Like being here and what we can feel like something I wanted in my life, my future desired state. I can live it right now, and that is how I can manifest the things what I wanted. Yeah. Okay. This is the practical aspect of what I've been teaching and taught from all these international coaches. Tantra is a practical day-to-day life living is what I'm feeling, as what you're saying is based on that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
In a really simple way that I use for myself, and if it serves, great, use it. If not, toss it. In fact, anything I say, just if it doesn't serve, toss it. Is what would love do? What would love do? In every moment, what would love do? Even if I have a problem or I have a difficult situations, what would love do? And meet it from that perspective. And meet it from a space of like, I know I love myself so deeply, and I am so loved by life itself. Not that there is any separation, but if there's a situation that is unpleasant in my life, then I also see it like, okay, if I'm so loved and I love myself so much and this is here, then it's happening for me. It's not happening to me.
Okay.
And if it's happening for me, I can approach it not as this is a problem to solve, but okay, now I get to be more creative.
Okay.
Now I get to expand the limits of my potential to see how I can be an even greater version of myself than I have ever been before. And meet it with that as an opportunity to grow.
We talked about more on how Tantra works and how we can practice in a day-to-day life and all. I wanted to ask you something, even I asked many times myself, but I wanted to bring out to the more audience also to understand, or maybe they might be having the same question. We really, as in man's body, it's really difficult for us to understand the feminine aspect, even though we have that Shiva and Shakti both aspect. Even I feel sometimes the creativity and instinct and flow up from the Shakti side, feminine side. But why man is always drawn towards the feminine, or maybe you can say the woman, beautiful woman, or maybe so that why that I understood that, and I researched and I understood that because of there are certain conditions, certain parameters like how social conditioning goes, the desirability goes, beauty goes with the desirability and the childhood, right? How man brings out certain types of women looks good, and then there's the science behind that. They have more testosterone, and so desirability of looking at women, that how healthy is, how their curves, so that makes them so that reproduction system to be desirable, and then because women have nurturing qualities, they're soft, and so that gives them a signal for their fertility and birth and all. So this is the science when I explored, I understood, but just wanted to understand from the Tantra aspect of it, like why man is drawn towards, and how that is not in the link, not in the sync, like at the same times women are not that drawn to man, how the man is drawn to the woman. So just want to understand from the Tantra aspect of it, like how you feel that. Just add a little light on that. Yeah?
Sure. So I can't speak for all men and all women. And however you identify, super appreciate and support that. But what I can share from the Tantra perspective is about polarities.
Okay, polarities.
Which is again, the way that we're able to truly appreciate existence is by being able to experience the opposite. Like, we know what hot is because we know what cold is. We know what night is because we know what day is. We know what life is because we know what death is. And they give each other meaning.
Okay.
If we were just immortal, then life would be meaningless. But because we experience death, and we know that at one moment it will be our last in these bodies, that is what helps give vibrancy. So the masculine and the feminine are two of those polarities.
Okay.
So the masculine polarity, whether it's in predominantly in a man or a woman, or in a they, them, whatever, is drawn to its opposite, which is the feminine polarity. So even in same-sex relationships, you will often find that there is one who's exhibiting more of what we consider masculine, while the other is exhibiting more of the receptive and feminine. And they can flip-flop. I mean, relationships too, you can have that. So that is what causes the I would say the main attraction is polarities, is and being able to swim between the two, but also having that if you start to become too much like each other, which is what happens often in many long-term relationships and marriages, is that people who live together and are all often together, they just kind of flat lines, and they just become roommates after a while.
Okay.
Which is then why wanting to spice things up, shake things up, and really shift the polarities, and playing with like one being more masculine while the other place being more feminine, and it doesn't matter who, and then at a different time, like increasing even the distance within these polarities also helps to spark it back up, to bring that love, that attraction in people. So one of the things we're seeing in the neo-tantric world a lot of these days is very feminine men. And they're wondering, like, I'm talking about my feelings and being emotional, which is all very helpful and good. But then they're like, well, why aren't the women attracted to that? Because it's like, well, now we have another girlfriend. So it's a fine balance.